Hello, how are you today? Do you want to dive into a book that might just surprise you, whether it becomes your next favorite or one you might skip? Let's find out what readers are saying about it.
Lex, who has 63 likes, says, 24/25 happy pub day to this cutie emotional depth. We love to see it, brothers, they did not get it on. Till like 80 through that's how you know they fell in real genuine love. First lemme tell yo he loved them both as individual people. And seeing as this follows the same timeline of Unsteady instead of being a continuation, I loved how it felt more behind the scenes from the tidbits we saw in Unsteady. They are so stinking precious, and also they delivered on the angst. Hello, thank you to NetGalley the publisher for an arc. MK, who has 26 likes, says, I think falling in love with you is the easiest thing I've ever done. Tropes tutor ex-hockey player. Fake dating. College rating 4.75. To be loved is to be seen and understood. Both of these characters were treated so poorly in their past relationships, and seeing them find happiness and acceptance in each other was truly so special. Peyton Corinne has a way of breaking your heart and making you fall in love at the same time. I always feel every emotion so deeply when I am reading her books, and it's because I care so much for her characters. This series is quickly becoming one of my all-time favorites. Arc review. Heather Newhouse Hiatus, who has 238 likes, says, 3 stars. I don't know if I'll come back to this one to write a lengthy review. I enjoyed the FMC. I thought she was great. The story itself, though, felt very tropey and predictable. Not super original. It wasn't bad. It just didn't wow me. The spice was a bit ick. College hockey romance tutor ex-student friends to lovers learning disability. Mental health rep grief trauma rep hopeless romantic FMC player MMC dual POV slow burn no third act. Connect with me on Instagram. Kiri, who has 33 likes, says, 4.25 HAGSHDKDGEAFHSHDGDGSSG. This book was so good, OMG guys, I was kicking my feet and giggling throughout this book. Cool y'all, I needed a good ass romance so badly, and this book scratched my itch just like I needed mad as FOINEE shit, and such a good book. BF and RO is the perfect match. Tropes hockey romance friends to lovers mistaken identity. She falls first, he falls harder. Prose Matt is the best cutest book. BFFMC is educated and doesn't play dumb hockey romance, but it isn't solely focused on hockey. MMC isn't a prick and is actually someone I'd like in real life. Plot was satisfying and enjoyably. Couldn't put the book down. 400 pages, yet I finished in less than 24 hours. The epitome of romance scenes didn't overshadow the plot. Cons: the overuse of the nickname for the FMC. Cute at first but became excessive. Spicy scenes were a little cringy for my liking. If you're really into books, you'd like them, though just a little much for me. I wasn't satisfied with how they confessed their love. I forgot everything from book 1 overall. I so recommend this. The Tropes characters plot just made it a favorite for me. Ali, who has 108 likes, says, heavy sig. If you read my earlier review of the first book, you'd know how much I truly wanted to love this one. From the very start, I found myself deeply invested in RO and Freddie's story. Woefully, while I have a deep affection for them, I can't deny that the story fell short of my expectations, and this book failed to stand out on its own. Undeniably, Freddie and RO are one of the most tender-hearted characters I've encountered. They ache with longing, carry the weight of grief, and slowly discover what it means to be loved unconditionally. I completely empathize with Maddie's pain losing his mother, enduring manipulation from someone he trusted, and dealing with a narcissistic father. His fragility feels raw, authentic, and deeply valid. RO, on the other hand, there are many times when I cried for a character and wanted them to be transparent of their feelings and cried with me. But RO might actually cry too much, it gets exhausting. While vulnerability can be powerful, her frequent crying felt excessive, overshadowing other aspects of her character and making it harder to fully connect with her journey. She comes from a loving family, and while she faces challenges like homesickness and a toxic ex-boyfriend, I felt that many of her struggles felt more self-imposed than external, especially when girl is just adventurous but held back by the fear of being judged. Therefore, given their personalities, I found both characters to be quite passive. They spend much of their time in states of sadness, heartbreak, or moping, which made their story lack excitement and momentum. Instead of feeling dynamic or engaging, the narrative often felt flat and unnecessarily drawn out. To make matters worse, Freddie and RO are so similar in their emotional struggles that it became difficult to distinguish between them, leaving their individual arcs feeling indistinct and repetitive. I think you'd be easy to love. Lord, I wish I could say the same to this book. Even so, it feels like the author leaned too heavily on this particular quote, trying to build the entire plot around it in an attempt to tug at readers' heartstrings. Instead, it came across as forced, and I found myself unmoved as the over-reliance on this element made the story feel more contrived. One of the other biggest misses of this book is that the series has consistently focused solely on the main characters, when there's so much potential for deeper connections with the found family aspect. The hockey families and their partners have such rich dynamics that could add layers to the story. Yet this book, like the others, felt limited. I didn't care much for Sadie and Reese. Sure, but their presence was so minimal you could count it on one hand. Despite being meant as significant friends to RO and Freddie, debatable, they felt very insignificant. The small tidbit at the end didn't make up for their near absence throughout the story. Consequently, made me feel disconnected from the larger community I had hoped to enjoy. Another issue I had was the storytelling itself. This book overlaps with The Unsteady, and I honestly couldn't recall much from that book. There were moments where past events were referenced, but without a clear reminder. It was hard to understand what was going on. The narrative assumes you know the previous events, but for those of us who don't remember every detail, it left me feeling lost, not to say. The abrupt scene jumps between chapters feel sudden and jarring, disrupting the story's flow and leaving readers disoriented. It's a recurring issue that was never fixed, even after being noted in the previous book. In the end, despite being presented with a wholesome epilogue and lovable characters who learn to trust each other, I didn't feel that they truly grew as individuals. Their personal development felt stagnant despite the super long pages. I don't think it should be this long, guys. Therefore, as much as it hurts me to settle with 2 stars, this is where I think their story stands. Nevertheless, if you're looking for an emotionally layered story filled with heartfelt moments and mutual longing, this book might be the perfect fit for you. P.S. I still don't like Sadie and I dislike her more in this book for some reasons. Lol.